Hey, welcome back. Today we've arrived at the final video of the Guitar Rig 6 walkthrough series. And today I'm going to show you how to build elaborate effects chains and how to go from something like this to this. So let's get started. Okay, one thing I want to get out of the way first when we start building effects chains in Guitar Rig is that there's two ways to actually assign macros. And with macros, I mean knobs like this that control several different parameters at once or have the ability to do that. And you can access the macro panel by clicking on this button here. But there's a thing called container also in Guitar Rig. And when you load that up, that can hold several different effects units. Let's say we chuck in a reverb there, and we chuck in delay man. And you can expand or collapse it like this. And as per usual, when you click on a screw icon, we get an advanced panel. And you can set this the same as the bottom macro panel to have it a set of 8 controls, which is usually just enough for me. Now, the thing to keep in mind is once you have things chucked into a container, you can no longer assign these macros to any of the parameters. See, it gives you a stop sign. So then you assign the macros from the container to the parameters. Right, and this one to the mix. Let's say this one to the delay, dry wet mix. But then I hear you thinking like, okay, then what should I do? What's the difference between chucking stuff in a container and assigning macros that way or using the bottom macro panel? Well, the bottom macro panel is for the entire instance of Guitar Rig 6, anything that's not contained within a container. But a container, anything you've chucked in there, you can have that saved as its own preset. And you can actually combine multiple containers within a single instance of Guitar Rig. So you can have a preset within a preset. So in that way, it acts as any other component of Guitar Rig in that you can have it saved as a preset. And it will load up all those different components and assignments you made within that container. Because I can just simply add another container, chuck some different stuff in there, collapse that, save that as a separate preset, and that way you can combine. So that's the difference between just using the bottom row of macros for anything that's not in a container and using stuff that's in a container. Yeah, I'll quickly show you some of the container presets. So over here we have some sounds. Basic drum loop, synth loop, and for later on, a vocal.
This is the love. This is the love.
And we're going to do a bunch of fun things too. So let's look at the drum loop. Let's check out some of these container presets. These are usually very elaborate, sound destroying presets. Right, so something rhythmically like that is more applicable to drums. But let's start from scratch and let's build something so we can transform this drum loop maybe into something like a percussion loop or something. Let's get a filter in there. And over here we have the modify section. So with this, you can, for instance, say, okay, I want the input level of the audio coming in to control some kind of parameter here on the interface. So let's have the input level control the resonance. You can set the attack time, decay time, and the offset time. And the offset is meant for the control value here. And in the advanced panel of any kind of modifier, you can control how much influence is going to have or how much control range is going to have over the selected parameter. So you can set a very shallow range, a lot of range, or have it affect the range negatively. So if I set it to a positive value, the resonance here, then it will go from this point down to the 0 point. Delays. What cool things can we do? Let's get some reverb in there. RC48. I have another idea. We have beat slicers, beat mashers here. These are actually from imported from Traktor a long time ago, and they call it Traktor's 12. They've been incorporated in Guitar Rig for a while, but these are actually the studio effects from Traktor DJ or Traktor Pro. And beat slicer is one of them. So if I press slice, if a slice whatever audio fragment is it's at in playback at that moment. Let's see what we can do with the masher on top of that. The beat masher. Set that to dotted eighths. And let's see. So now what happens if we place that effects chain on an auxiliary track? So we want to hear the dry drums, but then feed that into that effects chain so they get mixed in. All right now the CPU use is obviously getting a bit higher with these ton of effects. Don't be discouraged though. I'm on a very old machine. I'm on an old Mac Pro 2012 model. So yeah. For anything newer than that, like especially an M1 machine, no worries. Just a regular old compressor then. Okay, I surrender. Without the signal being ducked, and with the signal being ducked. Well, let's say we want it more subtly. Right, as a sort of effect. And can of course set the EQ so it doesn't mess with our low end. And let's have an auto filter. Okay, let's just apply this fully again to the drum loop. All right, you get the idea. Of course, this is just me doing live messing around, fucking around until I get something usable. But here are ones I've made earlier. So for this drum loop, I had a few. Let me grab this one. Sounds like this. Kind of interrupts the drum pattern and adds a delay. And then add this one on top. So as with all things, sound design obviously takes some time and sometimes some trial and error. And whenever you build a chain that works for a certain type of sound, of course, save it as a preset. And let's now go to the synthesizer sound. Sounds like this. What I had for that one was this. And sometimes I just grab a preset from the factory library and then, of course, edit it to my taste for something that works for the sound I'm working on. You don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. But let's see what else we can do if we add another instance of guitar rig and add a container on top of that. And as a matter of fact, we can actually do that within the same instance of guitar rig. Because we know that now, if we go over to components, and we add a container at the bottom here. And containers have their own presets, so we can add something. These names really don't tell you anything, so you just have to try them out. This could be cool. You're like in the middle of a breakdown and you're introducing some kind of synth patch. Set this up to an auxiliary and fade this out with a dry signal. Let's go to the vocal sound. Or Andre. Sounds like this.
This is the love. This is the love.
And this is the chain I have.
This is the love. This is the love.
So some reverb and a stutter effect. Automated by an LFO and step sequencer. Right, guys, I hope you get the gist. Guitar Rig 6 is perfect for your channel strip duties, for on the effects chains on the auxiliary tracks, inserting an EQ, a filter, reverbs, delays, whatever have you. And it's a sound design playground when you start approaching it like this, with all the different modulations you can apply to different parameters. All right, I hope you like these series, and if in some way this helped you out, give the videos a like and subscribe to the channel, as I will be spending more time on actually sound design and production tips. All right, see you again in the next video. Cheers.